Well, the White Sox, I'm sure everyone knows this, but they have a new manager.
You have a new manager.
Yeah. I have extensive notes on this, but a lot of it's irrelevant at this point when we were going to do this multiple times. But Pedro Grifol is the new manager. I think the biggest difference right off the bat was Rick Hahn was smiling at this press conference.
Yeah,
as opposed to, if you haven't done it, everyone out there, and you're a White Sox fan or just want a good laugh, you can find the Tony La Russa press conference online. And
I think we called him. He looked like a hostage victim, like reading a note. Like,
I mean, it literally is. He never cracks a smile. The vibe is completely different.
Yeah.
There is zero talk from La Russa's side of what you want to hear out of your new manager, where Grifol, although a bit cliche, said everything you wanted to hear as a White Sox fan.
He definitely won the press conference.
Yes, on fixing everything we saw as Rick Hahn had seen throughout the season, everything that was out there, he's intending to fix. So
problem solved. World Series, you're all set.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, it's all over, folks. That's why we didn't sign anyone. The team's actually going to perform like they were supposed to last
Pedro.
year.
It's all set.
Yeah, the team's going to perform like they were supposed to last year, so it's all over. Signed, sealed, delivered. No, all kidding aside, though.
Yeah, what are your real thoughts about Pedro Grifol?
He was not my first choice.
He was. I just went back. I'm springing.
I said pass. I said pass.
A hard pass was the quote.
A hard pass.
No one from the Kansas City organization interests you at this point, and I think
because of a losing environment.
Then you made a perfect joke saying, "So that means the Sox will definitely hire him." So. It worked
so there you go. It worked out like I thought.
Prescient with your comments. So
yeah, I do remember saying that. In fact, I even had it in that was our last show, so my notes were up and it said like hard pass.
Wow, you really follow your notes.
I've done some more extensive research on him since. There are some positives from a coaching standpoint in that he was part of the coaching staff when they won the World Series. He was part of the ascent of who's their catcher?
Salvador Perez.
Thank you. He's a part of Salvador Perez's ascent, which gives me optimism on and I'm going to touch upon him in a minute. But Yasmani Grandal having a bounce back year. So there's good. He can talk to the team in their native language. I think that's a huge positive. He hired.
Tony La Russa was bilingual, though. I mean,
was he?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But he was old and stodgy and made a lot of bad decisions.
He said a lot of dumb things in his second language. So
he said, was that English? His second language? His first language was La Russa. His second language English, and his third language was Spanish. There are some other interesting hires along with Grifol. Was Charlie Montoya is the bench coach, which I made a funny quip about in the fact that he has a lifetime managerial record of 500, which again fits the White Sox persona so perfectly.
I'm a little confused by that because didn't Rick Hahn hire him? And
no, so
not. I mean,
not what I read.
Okay, so there's confusion about that.
Grifol came out and said, I started asking around about good bench coaches because I've never been a manager. And Montoya's name came up over and over again to me, so we reached out to him.
I think there's miscommunication,
but that could also be a post hiring story too, because Montoya was kind of announced.
It was very quickly.
Almost very quickly with Grifol. Not to say that no one knows it really is happening,
right?
But there is that's where I think the confusion comes in. It was almost like, well, how do we already have a bench coach? We just hired the manager.
Yeah,
But
they could have been working behind the scenes well
yeah,
before anything was said. That's understandable.
but his
I guess the
story,
interesting thing
yeah,
about that is Montoya, of course, is a former manager. So
yeah,
if Pedro flames out for whatever reason, they've got a backup plan already in
yeah,
place. So
yeah,
that's why I was a little
exactly.
people were connecting dots there, which may or may not exist. So
Yeah, I agree. Though I understand, you understand why that happens. I mean, I was thinking the same thing right off the bat, especially when, to your point, I was, reading initially that like the Sox hired the bench coach and then or hired and then all those comments came out like, well, is Grifol going to get to pick any of his managerial
right,
staff
right.
and all that shit? So, um, I think a great hire, though. I just want to touch upon this because this was a huge problem with the White Sox last year, except for the last month of the season, or also tied into when La Russa left. Is they have a new hitting coach who's the assistant hitting coach from the Atlanta Braves, who hit very well. So Jose Castro is our new hitting coach. So that is a positive, I think, moving things in the right direction. And then they also did hire a new head of conditioning. I don't know that guy's name, but so hopefully that keeps
Well,
people on the field this season.
I think I would summarize this as it's all a positive because it's all new compared to what was there this
Yeah,
previous
true,
year. Like
dude. Yeah,
insert any names that you just mentioned that were just hired, and it's a positive compared to what was there before. So,
right. That's true. That's true. I'm
so I
not,
think you win
but
no matter what. But
yeah, I mean, I think hiring a lifetime 500 manager as your bench coach is probably not a huge win.
I think it's
But
prudent. I
but
think
it's
it's
but it's what you need with an unexperienced manager.
sure.
Um, and he had, I mean, he 500 life, but he did have some success in the years prior to
Hey, he's
the
the
last
former
season.
manager of the Montgomery Biscuits back when
Yeah.
I was working with that team.
Well, there
I
you
know
go.
Charlie. He doesn't
So
fuck around.
so overall, I would say from a coaching standpoint, to your point, it's all non La Russa related, so it's trending up.
I'm not. I mean, that's not a ringing endorsement, but it is a. It feels like a reality that anything besides La Russa has to be a positive. So
Yeah, when the bar gets so low, it's just like, I don't know. It
yeah,
all sounds better.
it's
So
got to be frustrating. I mean, he was certainly the low. Grifol was certainly the lowest of the candidates you mentioned in the previous episode. So,
yeah,
um, but again, doing your research, I mean, you did little research on that before because we didn't think it was a real possibility, and we weren't really. I'm sure you weren't really looking forward to it. So,
yeah.
I guess the best part about it for me is it gives me an opportunity to do more imaging for our Pedro segments. Vote for Pedro. Got
Oh,
to
that's a good one. Yeah.
throw that in there. Maybe nobody voted for who voted for Pedro. So I'll work something up for this episode. So
Yeah,
look forward to that.
it's working a lot better than what was who was I forgot my lead candidate.
Oh, Sandy Alomar.
No, Espinada.
Oh, that's right, from the Astros.
Espinada's empanadas.
Yeah, I had a whole thing. I was rooting, of course, for Azagian,
Well, of
and
course you were. You were saying that from the beginning.
well, part of it is because I had an idea, and I even worked out the imaging in case he was hired, like for Ozzy Guillen being Ozzy Osbourne's "Mama, I'm Coming Home," with
Ooh,
all sorts of Ozzy
dang.
quotes and Rick Hahn over the top.
Oh, that's too
So
bad. Now you've disappointed me that it's
that
not
one's going
Ozzy.
in the vault, never to be heard.
Yeah, probably not. I think that ship has probably officially sailed now.
Yeah.
Word Hole Media.